In this example we're going to look at how you can manage your retests effectively and efficiently. And what we're going to use as part of this example is a tool called QA Complete and ALM Complete, and we've got the standard setup for most of these test management tools where we've got releases and then a test management area. Now notice under the releases tab we've got a number of versions defined that we are currently testing. In this example we have completed our test run against version 2.0 of the product, and we're about to start testing on version 3.0. So under the test management tab then we have our test library, which contains a list of test cases we're going to reuse on a regular basis, and then we have our test sets, which is a collection of tests that we're going to run against a specific release. Now we have already run a number of tests against the version 2 release, and some of those tests have failed. And we can see those failures when we display the last run status for these tests and the last run release. So in our test library then we're looking at the integration tests that we've written, and we can see that 2 tests have failed when we ran them against version 2 of the product. So what we're looking at now is making sure that we rerun those failed tests as part of our version 3 testing. And the best way to approach this is to set up and configure a filter. And what I've done is set up a filter called last run failed, and that just picks out the test cases that have failed and that were run against version 2 of the product. And you can see that filter and how we've configured that, and we can look at that filter by selecting create new filter and picking up the last run status failed saved filter, and you can see how we've configured this with last run status failed and last run release equals main release version 2. So as I say, with that filter applied, we've picked off all of the test cases that we need to rerun as part of version 3. So at this stage then we can create a new test set which will include those failed tests. So under the test set area, click add new, create our retests from failed version 2.0 testing test set, and maybe select a folder for that test set to reside in and submit that test set. So at this stage we can then add test cases to the test set, and this is where we apply the filter that we've just created. So on the right hand side here we're looking at our test library. In this example we were looking at integration tests, and if we apply our last run failed filter we can pick out those 2 test cases or others that may have failed, and selecting those and dragging those into the test set. Now notice that we have already selected version 3 of the releases over in the left hand side, so this test set is already queued up to be run against our version 3 release. So we have a test set specifically for version 3 that will rerun all of our previous failed test cases.